Hey everybody, welcome back to Sip and Share Wednesday. Queen D. Michelle here, your host and New Earth representative, where for a few minutes, I and maybe you take a little sip and I'll share. The overall theme for this season is planting seeds and watering plants. Entitled this episode, Dimensions, the Fourth. It's part 2 of a 3-part series on living and inhabiting states of consciousness / dimensions, and the characteristics of those dimensions. Last week I shared the characteristics of old Earth, 3D, 3-dimensional, resonance. You see, as humans, we operate out of a state of consciousness of beingness, our being, and we hold or function from that beingness in either 3rd, 4th, 5th, or beyond states of consciousness, dimensions, because that's what dimensions are. They're states of consciousness in which we live, move, and have our beingness. And what we determine what state of consciousness that we are resonating out of based on the frequencies that we emit. Now, last week I left off saying that the more time I spent with my soul self, the higher my frequencies became until I matched the bandwidth of 4th dimensional resonance, which of course is quite different than 3rd, 5th, or beyond. It's that state of transitioning. It's where one begins to take focus off of the external and they begin to turn inward. Internally is where the focus is now moving, and it creates some very unstable vibrational frequencies. It's a time of wavering energies. One could possibly spend their entire life or many years shifting from 3D to 4D. You know, they just stay in that wavering, unstable vibrational pattern. But hey, look, in the end, it matters not, for we are eternal beings, right? So, and it's not uncommon to shift back from 3D to 4D. See, because the ego is still present in the 4th dimension, and it's making a strong show of its own, see, because it does not want to lose control. It doesn't want to lose its grip, and get put in the back seat where it belongs. The ego has a general purpose, but it's not the general. So it should be in the back seat. And it will, that's where that struggle, that transitioning is taking place. The ego is making a very strong show in the 4th dimension. The 4th dimension is uncomfortable, as it is a place where healing also takes place, and a lot of releasing and healing is going on in this transition. Everything wounded and hurt and suppressed and ugly and deeply hidden is coming up. Some experience what they call, a term called the dark night of the soul. And there's a lot of releasing of things and people that no longer serve your highest good is taking place during the that resonance in fourth dimension. I tell you, some find the accountability and responsibility of inner work during this transition is too intense, and they don't do it. And I get it. It's not easy taking the bandage that we so carefully placed to avoid dealing with our stuff. Most don't want to feel it. But see, feelings are meant to be felt. I just wrote a blog last week entitled "Feel So You Can Heal." I'll leave the link down in the comments. You might want to check that out. Now, if you are experiencing resonance in the fourth dimension, 4D state of consciousness, do the inner work. The only way out is through. The only way out of 3D is through 4D. Do the inner work. Be consistent with the practices that you are using to align yourself with your soul self. See, the longer you spend holding those higher frequencies in 4D, the more weakened the ego will become, and it'll start sliding back into the back seat. And when that happens, you'll start experiencing glimpses of fifth dimension, where one creates the realities that they want to see show up in their life. So as you spend more time in 4D transitioning, you will come to a major realization, a paradigm shift. You'll wake up. You are awakening. And next week, I will talk to you about the characteristics of waking up in the fifth dimension. So until then, remember, pay attention to where your focus goes, because that's where your energy will be flowing. And as always, one light, one love. See you next week.